Hash the letter on the mahogany desk. The building was always quiet after 8 o'clock. Sarah Mitchell preferred it that way. She pushed her cleaning cart down the empty hallway of Sterling Industries, her yellow rubber gloves squeaking softly against the metal handle. The fluorescent lights hummed above her, and somewhere in the distance, a printer whirred to life before falling silent again. Sarah had been cleaning offices for 3 years now. Ever since her husband left, ever since she found herself alone with a 7-year-old daughter and a stack of bills that never seemed to get smaller. The night shift paid slightly better, and it meant she could be home when Emma got on the school bus each morning, even if she only managed 4 hours of sleep in between. Tonight, she had saved the executive floor for last. She always did. Something about the mahogany furniture and the floor-to-ceiling windows made her move more carefully here, as if the expensive surroundings demanded respect even in their emptiness. The CEO's office stood at the end of the corridor, its double doors imposing even when unlocked. She had never met Alexander Sterling. Nobody on the cleaning crew had. He arrived early and left late, but their paths never crossed. She knew him only through the careful disorder of his desk, the coffee rings he left on reports, the pen he always forgot to cap, the framed photograph of an elderly woman she assumed was his mother. Sarah unlocked the doors and stepped inside. The office smelled faintly of leather and expensive cologne. She began her routine, emptying the trash bin first, then dusting the bookshelves that lined the western wall. She was wiping down the conference table when she noticed it. A piece of paper sat in the middle of Alexander Sterling's desk. Pink construction paper, folded in half. Sarah's heart dropped into her stomach. She knew that paper. She had watched Emma carefully select it from her art supplies that morning, had seen her daughter's tongue poke out in concentration as she worked on something at the kitchen table. Emma had been secretive about it, tucking it into her backpack before Sarah could ask questions. With trembling hands, Sarah picked up the paper and opened it. The drawing was unmistakable, Emma's careful, looping style. She had drawn 2 figures, a tall man in a suit standing next to a smaller woman holding a mop. Above them, in Emma's best handwriting, were the words, "Please don't fire my mommy. She works really hard, she's the best mommy in the world." Below the drawing, Emma had written more, "My mommy cleans your office. She's always tired but she never complains. Sometimes she can't buy me new shoes but she always makes sure I have what I need for school. If you fire her, I don't know what we'll do. Please give her a chance. She's trying her best." Sarah's vision blurred with tears. Her daughter must have snuck into the building after school, must have waited in the lobby until Sarah was distracted, must have ridden the elevator up and found this office. The thought of Emma wandering these halls alone made Sarah's chest tight with fear and love in equal measure. She had been so careful to hide their struggles from Emma. She smiled through her exhaustion, laughed when the power company sent another warning notice, pretended the instant noodles were her favorite dinner too. But children noticed everything, didn't they? They felt the weight their parents tried to shield them from. Sarah carefully refolded the letter, her mind racing. She should throw it away. She should pretend this never happened. But her hands wouldn't move toward the trash bin. Instead, she found herself placing the letter back on the desk, exactly where she had found it. She finished cleaning the office. In a daze, her movements automatic. When she finally left Sterling Industries that night, the sun was beginning to paint the eastern sky in shades of pink and gold. 3 nights passed. Sarah cleaned the CEO's office as she always did, her heart pounding each time she entered, expecting something, a note, a confrontation, a termination letter. But everything remained the same. The letter had disappeared from the desk after that first night, and nothing replaced it. On the 4th night, Sarah found an envelope on the desk. Her name was written on it in strong, angular handwriting. Inside was a letter on company letterhead. "Dear Mrs. Mitchell," it began, "I received a letter this week that moved me more than any business proposal I've reviewed in my 15 years as CEO. Your daughter is quite brave, and quite persuasive." Sarah's hands shook as she continued reading. "I've been reviewing employee files, and I've discovered something troubling. You've been working the night shift here for 3 years, and in that time, your performance reviews have been exemplary. Yet you've never received the raise or the benefits package that should have been offered after your first year. This was an oversight on our part, and one I intend to correct immediately." The letter detailed a substantial raise, health insurance, and a shift to the day cleaning crew, which paid the same but would allow her to keep more normal hours. Additionally, the letter continued, "Our Human Resources Department has an opening for an administrative assistant. It requires no college degree, only reliability, attention to detail, and integrity, all qualities you've demonstrated consistently. If you're interested, the position includes a significant salary increase and full benefits. Please contact me directly to discuss. At the bottom, he had written in pen, "Your daughter is lucky to have you. And Sterling Industries is lucky to have you too. You were never at risk of being fired, Mrs. Mitchell. In fact, we should have recognized your value long ago." Sarah read the letter 3 times, then a fourth. Tears rolled down her cheeks, dropping onto the expensive stationery and making the ink blur slightly. She looked up at the family photograph on Alexander Sterling's desk, the one she had dusted 100 times without really seeing it. Now she noticed the way he smiled in the picture, standing next to the elderly woman. She recognized something in that smile, the look of someone who understood that family wasn't about perfection. It was about showing up, even when you were exhausted. It was about trying your best, even when your best felt like it would never be enough. Sarah carefully folded the letter and placed it in her pocket. Then she finished cleaning the office, taking extra care with every surface. When she left that night, she paused at the doorway and looked back at the mahogany desk one more time. "Thank you," she whispered to the empty room. The next morning, Sarah called the number listed on the letter. 3 weeks later, she started her new position in human resources. She worked day hours now, wore business casual instead of a uniform, and had health insurance for the first time in years. Emma never knew that her letter had been found, or that it had changed everything. But sometimes, when Sarah tucked her daughter into bed at night, she held her a little tighter, marveled a little more at the fierce love that could fit inside such a small person. And on the 7th floor of Sterling Industries, in an office with floor-to-ceiling windows, Alexander Sterling kept a piece of pink construction paper in his desk drawer. On difficult days, when business decisions weighed heavily on his shoulders, he would take it out and remember what really mattered. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is let someone see that you need help. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is actually give it.